Okay, this was the learning. We have panacea. Let's start. Mem Daled. I'm in base, right in the middle of the page. Chol yom hayachita b'shel kesef. Yeah, we're making distinctions between the service, the way it was done on Yom Kippur, the way it was done the rest of the year. That's the special Ketores, the way it was done on Yom Kippur. Actually, I don't know the regular Ketores on Yom Kippur. I don't know if we skipped that or I'm not sure. Okay, one of the things that we mentioned was that every on a regular day they used a silver shovel and they would pour it into a golden shovel, the coals. They would take the coals off the mizbeach in a silver shovel and they would put it in the golden shovel. And today they would just use a golden shovel. So my time, the Gemara asks, you see, the gold would get worn out quicker. And actually, it doesn't say that the gold would get worn out quicker. It just says that it would get worn out and the gold is more expensive. So they didn't want that. We're also, if the Torah is Chasam Ma'anim Shel Yisrael, it doesn't say where we know that from. I think we know it from Yishkos Biram. I think there's a pasuk that says, in the desert you'll get water and you'll drink and you'll give to your animals to drink. I think over there it says Malamit Shater Chasam Ma'anim Shel Yisrael that the Mefarshim ask, how do you know that has to do with the Torah being concerned about the Jewish money? Maybe it has to do with Tzar Balakayim. In the wording over there, it's understood. Okay, next piece. Today, you only used one shovel, a golden shovel, and that's how you went in. You didn't pour it from one shovel to another. My time, what's the reason? Because we didn't want to cause exertion to the Kohen Gadol. So to pour it from one to another is an extra step. We've cut that out. Every day they used 4 kav, a shovel of 4 kav. 4 kav, every kav is 24 eggs, the size of 24 eggs. 4 kav would be 96 eggs, right? So, and then they would pour it into a shovel of 3 kav. That's what we like. We had 2 opinions there, but that's Tana was taught in the Bryce in Ispazer like kav gecholim mechabdem la'ama. When you're pouring a 4 kav into a 3 kav, you're going to have 1 kav that spills over. So what do you do with that? And it says mechabdem. It was swept into the amma. Amma is the stream that went through the Beis Hamikdash, and that's how they would get rid of those coals. Yeah. It was sort of like central vacuum. So I haven't seen that in a while. But anyway, this was a central washing, central mopping. Okay. Tanicha de Kav, Tanya de Kabayim. We have 2 brises. One brise says that a kav spilt over. Another brisa says that 2 kavs spilt over. Okay, now, if you look back at the Mishnah, we had 2 opinions. One opinion was that the shovel that was used to take off the mizbeach was 4 kav. The shovel that was used to go into the heichal was 3 kav. That would explain the 1 kav spilling over. Then there's another opinion here that says, Rabbi Yosi Yaimer b'chol yom chayta b'shel sa'a Omar b'tech shleishes kav, and that was another opinion. Rabbi Yosi's opinion, he said that you used 6 kav, and you poured it, a saw is 6 kav, and you poured it into 3 kav, so you would have 3 kav spilling over, right? So the Gemara says like this: we have a brisa that says that there was 2 kav spilling over. So I understand the brisa that says that 1 kav spilled over. Rabbanan, that's the opinion of the Rabbanan. But the 2 kavs spilling over from the first fire pan into the second fire pan, where do you get 2 cups spilling over? Lei Rabbanan v'lei Rabbi Yossi. It's not the Rabbanan's opinion. The Rabbanan say 1 cup spilled over, and Rabbi Yossi says 3 cups spilled over. Where do you get the 2 cups? Rav Chizda says Rabbi Shmuel b'nei Shel Rabbi Yechim ben Bereika. It's actually a third opinion. The Tanya, Rabbi Shmuel b'nei Shel Rabbi Yechim ben Bereika Eimer b'shel kabayim hayamachnes, that he would enter in with 2 kav, a pan of 2 kav instead of 3 kav. So if you say that originally you took it off with 4 kav and you entered in with 2 kav, you have 2 kav spilling over. So the Rabbanan said that you took a pan of 4 kav and you poured it into 3 kav, you have 1 kav spilling over. Rabbi Shmuel b'nei Shel Rabbi Yechim ben Bereika says you had 4 kav starting off with, and you poured it into a 2 kav, so you have 2 kav spilling over. Rav Ashi says, he gives us a nice complicated teretz. I feel a tamer Rabbi Yossi. You could even say that it's Rabbi Yossi. Now, Rabbi Yossi says that you start off with 6 kav and you pour it into a 3 kav. So how do you have 2 kav? It sounds like these riddles. They say you have 2 jugs, one has 3 and one has 5. How do you come out with 4? You have to figure out, you pour into this, into that. So how do you get 2 kav out of Rabbi Yossi? It says like this. Here's the pshat. Originally, a saw was 6 kav. That was the desert saw when the Jews were in the desert. That was the original measurement. And then you would pour it into 3 kav. So that was our problem. You had 3 kav left over, 6 kav into that. Okay. However, at a certain point in history, they made the kavim larger. So in other words, a saw, instead of being 6 kav, a saw stayed the same. A saw would be only 5 kav. So that means that if you would pour into, those kav were larger kavim. So if you poured into 3 of those kavim, you were actually pouring into 4 original. It was 4 because those were larger. It was only 3, but it was larger. Whatever the case is, when you look on the floor, there's 2 kav on the floor. That's what we're saying. Even though it says it was poured into 3, that's because they switched the measurement. There's 2 kav on the floor. That's Rav Ashi's study. Okay. You see, we're on Mem Daled, Amud Beis, and we're towards the bottom, about 11 lines on the bottom. Every day the shovel was heavy, and today it was light. Tana b'chol yom heisa gilda ava. I wish gilda meant gold. I think it means the thickness. Vayom rach. I'm not sure, actually. I don't know what gilda means. Huh? The density. No, not density. The thickness of the material. It was a thicker material versus the thinner material. Okay, and today it was thin, so it was lighter. Every day the handle was a short handle, and today the handle is longer. My time, why did they need a longer handle? The shovel was thinner, but the handle was longer. They're trying to make it lighter while you're making a long handle. Because he wants the elbow of the Kohen Gadol should be able to support it. Tana b'chol yom lo niyashtik. V'ayom hayala niyashtik. Every day it didn't have a bell that was on it. It was like this tinkling of when it was moving. It would make a sound. And today it had a sound in it. And what's the pshat over there? It says v'nishma koile b'voye. Was that on Yom Kippur? No, that's always. I was talking about the bells on the bottom of the Ksainas, right? Was it on the bottom of the Ksainas bell? Yeah. Divrei Ben Hasgan. Interesting, huh? Something's going on here. Okay. B'chol yom haya zav yarek. Every day the gold was yellow gold. Amrat Chizda, Shiva Zahavim. Chizda says there's 7 types of gold. Yeah. Well, it's not so complicated here. There's Zahav, that's gold. There's Zav Taiv, there's good gold. There's Zav Oifir, there's Zav Mupaz, there's Zav Shachut, Zav Sagar, and Zav Param or Parvam. Anyone have a Nekudas in the Gemara? How do they tell you to read that?
Parvayim.
Parvayim. Okay. And there's Zahav Parvayim. So Zahav Taiv. Where do you know that there's gold and there's good gold? The gold of that land was good, right? What does it say? That's by the rivers, when the rivers split up from Gan Eden. Yeah, we should go look over there. Apparently there's gold. Zav Aifir, the Asimi Aifir. Okay, that's a place. It's not telling me where the pasuk is, but there's psukim that have Zahav Aifir. Zav Mupaz, Shadaim Lapaz. Rashi says that this gold shines like a pearl. Okay. Is that something that's used? Shining like a pearl? Is that pearls shine more than gold? Zav Shachat. What does this mean, Zav Shachat? This actually means Shenitve Kachut. This type of gold could be used for sewing. You could spin it into thread. It's a very thin gold. Zav Sagar. What does it mean, Zav Sagar? It sounds like it's closed. What does that mean? This finishes off the market. When this gold comes to the market, there's nothing else, everything else shuts down. It's so special. Zav Parvayim, Shadoim Ladama Parim. This gold is reddish. It's similar to the blood of the cows. Interesting. Ravashi Amar Chamishin. Ravashi says there's really only 5 types of gold. This Zav is Zav Taiv. You see, Zav Taiv is just an adjective. It's just they're all adjectives, but it's describing. It's not part of the name. It doesn't become the name of the gold. It's just describing the quality of the gold. There's gold and there's good gold, and then there's different types of gold. It's not a type. Tanya Namihachi was taught in a brisa. B'chol yaim hayazav yarak vayim adam v'hainu zav parvayim shadayim l'adam aparim. That's exactly what it said. That today we used on Yom Kippur. We used a red gold. That's the zav parvayim, which is similar to the blood of the animals of the park. Daniel, any comment on 7 types of gold, 5 types of gold? No, not from your mind. Any thoughts?
There's Zahav Ophir is a reference to the famous gold mines of Shlomo HaMelech.
Yeah. Is that what? Does it say that in Malachim? Yeah, I think it says that. It says Hakesef was like Shavim Uma or something. It had so much silver that silver was like had no value, and then they had a lot of gold.
Yeah, and people are still looking for that place.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. Okay, B'chol yaim makriv pras shachris v'chulu. Every day they would put a half of a mana of incense in the morning, half in the afternoon. B'chol yaim hasadaka v'hayim daka minadaka. Every day was ground thin, and now it was thin, fine, very fine. Daka minadaka. Taner Rabbanan daka. Pasuk says that it's daka. That is. This must be by Yom Kippur. So, yeah. V'lokach malay mach v'gach liyesh mal mizbech m'pnei Hashem u'malay chachnav k'ter samim daka v'hevim mi beis aparechas k'ter samim daka. By Yom Kippur it says that he brings daka. Now the problem is the Gemara says Ma Talmud Laimar. Why does it have to say k'ter samim daka? You're describing the k'teris that it's ground fine. Halik v'arnema v'shechaktem en hadek. When it came to making the k'teris, it says that you grind it fine. So elalahavi daka min adaka must mean that you have to do an extra grinding. Make it even more fine. Every day the Kainim would walk up on the east side. Because it says that whenever you come to a corner, you turn to the right. So over here, you go to the right, which is the Mizrah. Yeah, you're going to end up in a circle if you don't know where you're going. But so I'm not sure exactly what the Gemara means. What was the story with Alter Rebbe? He was running away from Napoleon. They didn't ask him the directions. And they went they went on one road. It was very disturbed. And he passed away like that. In that place that they went to. He woke up. He said, "Where are we?" They said, "We went to the right, to the left." I don't remember. They said, "No, that wasn't correct." Okay. V'hayayim oile be'emtza v'yered be'emtza. And today, on Yom Kippur, you go up in the center and you go down in the center. My time, what's the reason? Mishum kvoidei the Kohen Gadol. It's for the honor of the Kohen Gadol. I don't know. In the Rashi here, it says Mishum Kvoidei. Laharis Chashivusei. To show that he's important, Rashi says Shukah ben Bayis. That he's like he's a member of the house. So he can do what he wants. But then Rashi says Umakif l'tzarech hashlei l'tzarech. That's something. Umakif l'tzarech hashlei. Maybe it means that he's allowed to go up whenever he wants. That's what it means. But maybe Rashi is not talking about this. I don't know. I'm not sure what that means. The in my Bach, he's doing some sort of correction, and maybe he's taking out part of Rashi. He's not saying what he's doing. Anyway, every day the Kohen Gadol would wash his hands from the kir, but today he used the golden basin. My timer, the honor of the Kohen Gadol. Okay. That's the last answer. Doesn't tell me why today is different. No.
It was different because he didn't wash from the kir on Yom Kippur. A golden pitcher, I guess, was used to wash his hands and feet.
Yeah, but it's not telling me why on Yom Kippur it's different. The answer Mishum Kodesh Shel Kohen Gadol should tell me why you should do it every day. Why the Kohen Gadol should do it every day. Same with the last question. Unless what our Gemara is doing is explaining the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, who holds you're right. The Kohen Gadol would always do that. And maybe our Gemara. Is there a chulu in there? No. Yeah, in this piece, the chulu is maybe telling me, and Rabbi Yehuda says that he would always do that. And then the Gemara says, my time, the Gemara answers, and it would be explaining the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Or maybe not. Maybe we can just say that the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur has extra chashivas. The Gemara just left out that detail that it's Yom Kippur. that the Kohen Gadol is a better, becomes more chashuv on Yom Kippur. Okay, should have said Mishum Kvodesh Al Yaim. That's what it should have said. B'chol Yom Hayeshamar b'Marachas. Every day they had 4 fires on the Mizbeach. Yeah, I mentioned this before when I was in 4th grade. So we learned Sefer Vayikra in Chumash. Rabbi Breslauer was the teacher in Monsey. And I remember someone asked him, why did the Pesukim in Parshas Tzav, each time it took on Mizbeach, it says like a bunch of times. So he said, anyone have a Torah Tamima Chumash at home? So someone said, he said, bring it in. So the next day he read basically this Gemara. Yeah, for my nostalgia, I brought a Torah Tamima Chumash. Yeah. But it's all in the Gemara. So he just quotes this one. Hey, Tanur Rabbanan. It was taught in Braisa, B'chol Yaim Hayushtayim Marachis V'Hayim Shalish. On the Mizbeach, of course, there's a fire, and then there's a pile of ashes. But how many fires were there? So it says every day there were 2, and today on Yom Kippur there was a 3rd one. Achas Maracha Gedayla, there was the big fire. That was probably for the Karbanas, let's see. Achas Maracha Shniya Shel Keteris, there was another fire that was just clean wood. It was used to get the coals off that, to bring into the Mizbeach HaPnimi for the incense. They had a clean fire. There was nothing else burning in it. Just the fire, just to get the coals. In one that they added for Yom Kippur, there was an extra fire just for Yom Kippur. And why an extra fire? Because on Yom Kippur you had an extra Keteris. You used the Keteris of Malay Chafna. You're saying the Keteris every day was Pras B'Shachos, Pras Ben Arbayim. And then Yom Kippur, he had Malay Chafna that his scoopful of his hands that he would take into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, a different sort of Keteris, a different service, special. So where did he get the coals to take into the Kodesh HaKadoshim? There was a separate fire for that. Div Rabbi Yehuda, that's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. Rabbi Yehuda holds 2 fires, normally today 3. Rabbi Yossi Amar B'chol Yom Shalish V'Yayim Aru. He says no, every day there's 3 fires, today there's 4. Achas Shamaracha Gedayla. One was a fire for the Karbanos. Achas Marachas Shniya Shel Keteris. Second one, which we know about, was for the Keteris. V'achas Shel Kiyam Ha'esh. One of them was for to keep the fire existing. Now, what does that mean? It says, Rashi says, that if the other Maracha is not strong, so you add from this. I thought when you want to make a fire stronger, you add wood. You blow on it. Here it sounds like I'm adding fire. Adding coals. Uh-huh. So maybe because this wood was already caught on, and I would bring it over and put it over there. Maybe that's what it means. In one, that was 3, and now the 4th one was for special for Yom Kippur, which was for the Keteris, the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Rabbi, yeah. But Meir Eimer or Rebbe Eimer, it's not unclear if it's Rebbe or Reb Meir. It would make sense if it's Reb Meir because they're friends. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, and Reb Meir are contemporaries. Rebbe is younger than all of them. Meir Eimer, B'chol Yom Arba V'Yom Chamesh. Every day there was 4, and today there's 5. So how does this work? Achas Shamaracha Gedayla. One is the large fire. Achas Shamaracha Shniya. One is the fire for the Keteris. Achas Shel Kiyam Eish. One is to keep the fire strong. Okay, like we said. What happens if limbs have fallen off? You have to put them back on the fire. Which fire do you put them back on? So there's another fire just for that. And then there's the Keteris fire that was added just for Yom Kippur. The Gemara now explains the brisa. It says the kuli alma mias tarti yislu. Everyone holds that you have two fires, one for the karbanis and one for the ketores. Minalan, how do you know this? So Amar Kra, the pasuk says, "Hi ha'ilal mekdam mizbeach kol halayla zumaracha gedola beishem mizbeach tukadbai zumaracha shniya shel ketores." So say this in karbanis. Yeah, this is mamish pasuk base of Tzar. Zayis teres ha'ila. Al Maikdal Mizbeach Kol Alayla the Baiker. That's our first pasuk, right? This is on the fire on the Mizbeach all night. And Beisha Mizbeach took it by. And the fire of the Mizbeach was burning on it. What does he say over here in his comments? He says, Al Maikda, Zumarach Gdaila, Yoma Memhei. Beisha Mizbeach took it by, Zumarach Shniya Shal Ketores. Yeah, then he has his comments. See the Teretz Mima, he wrote the Teretz Mima. That's Rabbi Baruch Halevi Epstein. He wrote a Gemara commentary, but he put it on the Chumash. And in order to do that, he then quotes the Gemaras that are based on those psukim, and then he writes his commentary. But it's not always just it's not really like a Chumash commentary. It's really a Gemara commentary. It's sold better like this. I don't know. It is a Chumash commentary also, but it's okay. Now, so that gives us the two. Rabbi Yossi, Kiyam Ha'ish Minali. Rabbi Yossi has a third fire. How does he know that you have this a special fire that's just to make the other fire stronger? You see, now there's another pasuk. We had one pasuk that sounded like this. One was the Eish HaMizbeach Tukadbai. But if you go further, it says in pasuk Hey, V'ha Eish HaMizbeach Tukadbai Leisichbe. Yeah, he quotes this. So he has another one. That's the difference in the wording. For Rabbi Yehuda, what is Rabbi Yehuda going to do with this pasuk? That's coming to tell me that you have to light wood chips to get the fire started. The Tanya was taught in a brisa, Rabbi Yehuda. How do you know that you light the wood chips on top of the mizbeach? The fire on the mizbeach is burning. So that means that you don't light the wood chips on the bottom of the mizbeach and then come up the mizbeach and put them there. No, you have to stand up there and get them started on the place of the fire. Even those wood chips that are just like matches, just to get the fire started. Okay. Amar Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi says, Rabbi Yossi held that there were three fires. How do you know that there's a special fire just to keep the other fires going? Okay, I'm familiar with that pasuk. Rabbi Yehuda just told me that pasuk says that it's for lighting the wood chips. Rabbi Yossi tzatzes alisa minali. So where does Rabbi Yossi know that you light the wood chips on the top of the altar? Nafkalei mehecha de nafkalei l'Rab Shimon. Okay, now we throw in another opinion. He knows it from where Rab Shimon knows it from. The same place. The Tanya was taught in a brisa. V'nasnu b'nei Aaron akayin eish al mizbeach. Where's this pasuk? This is the beginning of Vayikra, looks like. Yeah, pasuk Zion, Vayikra Aleph. Not in sound. It says this is by the Karbanayla, that the sons of Aaron will put fire on the mizbeach and they'll arrange the wood on the fire. Yeah, they quote a Yerushalmi here that it's a mitzvah to put the fire before the wood. Yeah. Okay, I guess it means the two slabs of wood. Okay, so we have another pasuk that the sons of Aaron put fire on the Mizbeach. Limad al tzasas alisa shleiti ala b'kayin kasher b'kli sharis. Div Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says that this is telling me that the wood chips. I have a problem because Rabbi Yehuda said that Eishal Mizbeach tells me the wood chips. This Brisa says that Rabbi Yehuda says the wood chips have to be with a kain kasher and with kli sharis. That's what he's adding. I already know that it needs to be on top of the mizbeach. Rabbi Yehuda says, Rabbi Yehuda learned that Va'esh ala mizbeach Tukadvay tells me the wood chips need to be lit on top of the mizbeach. We asked, where does Rabbi Yossi know that from? So we say he's going to learn it from where Reb Shimon learns it from. So meanwhile, we say that Rabbi Yehuda learns from Benastim B'nei Aaron that the wood chips need to be done by a kain kasher, and we already know that it needs to be on top of the mizbeach. So Amalei Reb Shimon says to Rabbi Yehuda, that's another friend. We almost have the whole group over here, besides for Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon. He says, you don't need to tell me that it's a kayan that needs to do it. You already told me that it's on the mizbeach. You had that other pasuk, and now you're telling me v'nasna b'nei Aaron that it needs to be a kayan. If it's on the mizbeach, then what would you think, that a non-kayan was going to walk up to mizbeach and light it? So it can't be. This pasuk is actually telling me that the fire itself, the wood chips themselves, need to be lit on top of the mizbeach. Not that it needs to be a kayan, because once I know that it's on top of the mizbeach, then automatically it's a kayan. So why does it have to say it's b'nei Aaron? Why does it have to say b'nei Aaron? Because otherwise I could have said that the Zor does it not on top of the mizbeach. He lights it on the bottom and he throws it up, like, a flame throw it. He throws it up. So it's telling me, no, it needs to be on top of the mizbeach. It needs to be on top of the mizbeach, and then it's with the kayan. Okay. So what did we just gain? We gained the pasuk to tell me that Hatzasa Salisa, the lighting of the wood chips, needs to be on top of the mizbeach. Even according to Rabbi Yossi, that uses Veishal Mizbeach Tukadvay to tell me that I have another fire. So, but he learns it from V'nasna b'nei Aaron HaKayin. So he learns it from Rabbi Yehuda. What does Rabbi Yehuda respond to this? Imei hasam hava mina koyara vavid b'mapucha kamash malan. If I just would have learned from the Eishal Mizbeach, then I could have said that a Zar lights it on the ground. What is mapucha? Does that mean some sort of blower? A bellows? A Zar does it on the ground. He's standing on the ground and he gets the fire going with the bellows. Kamash Malan know that it needs to be on the top of the Mizbeach as well. So that's his response to Reb Shimon. Shimon says, if it's on the Mizbeach, so why do you have to tell me that it's a kayan? Of course, you already said it's on the Mizbeach. We said, well, not necessarily did the person need to be standing on the Mizbeach. It could have been standing on the ground and got it started. So I have to tell you that it's a kayan. Okay, Reb Meir,
Excuse me, didn't we learn that the Mizbeach was 10 amos high?
Yeah.
So how could that's a pretty tall person to stand on the ground.
Yeah, I would assume that it means he used some sort of blowing device to get it going. They had bellows.
But still, an amma, if you say an amma is 1.5 feet, we're talking about 15 feet up.
Yeah, it's really 9 because the 10 amas was including the corners, so it's really 9 amas. The average person, let's say, is 3 amas. Right? He needs another 6 amas up there. I don't know. Yeah, it's a question. How would he, what's the suggestion here? Yeah, but maybe there was a bellows with it too. Yitzi's saying that he floated up from Chassidus, not Mary Poppins or something. Okay. So, Reb Meir, how do we know that he has a separate fire for these limbs that didn't stay on the mizbeach? So nafkali mi ve'esh. It says ve'esh al mizbeach. So okay, they have an extra vav. So Rabbanan vav leidash. The Rabbanan don't dash in the vav. Usually, this is how it's very common in the Gemara. For we have machlekes and how we're going to dash psukim. What's it come down to? What does he do with it? Someone's going to have a leftover pasuk, or someone's going to have an extra halacha. How does it work out? It's going to work its way down to like just one small letter, and then we'll say, well, this one says that letter is not significant enough to make a whole drasha. That's all. It just makes it smaller, and then okay, so that one is probably dash. What do you do according to the Rabbanan? They don't have a fire for the things that fell off the altar in the night. You have to put them back on. It says not a problem. You return it to the regular fire. The Tanya started in a brayso. How do you know that you just put it on top of the mizbeach? If it's too full over there, so meanwhile you put it on the ramp or on top of the seiviv, which was a walkway around. Until you set up the maracha gedola, and then you put it back on the maracha gedola. Talmud Laimar says that the fire will consume the oila on the mizbeach, so it goes on to the consumption, the burning of the oila is on the mizbeach where it was the whole time. Reb Meir, what does Reb Meir do with that pasuk? He says, I need a special fire for these things. He says, you need this to tell me that it's only the oila that gets put back on if it fell off, but not ketayres on the inner mizbeach that fell off the inner mizbeach, that you have to put that back on. Never thought about that, but apparently the Reb Meir says we have to discuss that. And it tells me that doesn't get, you don't take it off the ground and put it back on the inner altar. The Tani Reb Chananya bar Minyumi b'debei Reb Elazar ben Yaakov. Chananya bar Minyumi from the yeshiva of Reb Elazar ben Yaakov taught, Asher teichal va'is yasa oila l'mizbeach kula oila tamachzer v'yatamachzer kula ketayres. That's the source. We learned from this, Asher teichal va'is yasa oila l'mizbeach, that you only put back the limbs that fell off, not ketayres. The kuli alma miyas mesifin bay bayayim islahu minalu. Everyone apparently is saying that there's an extra fire for today, for Yom Kippur. Where did they know that from? Nafkalu mi v'ha'esh. Wow. They learn it from v'ha'esh. You see, the first pasuk said v'esh hamizbeach b'chadbay. Then pasuk hey says v'ha'esh hamizbeach. And the fire. Yeah, the shul. So, and like this, afilu mandalei darish vav hey darish. Even if you don't say the vav, consecutive vav, they call it. You don't darshan that vav, but you still darshan the vav hey. That's a it's called a definite article. Right? Yeah, is that correct? That's a apple. What's the A? What I think it's called an article. The is called a definite article. Okay. Eish tamid l'mayasa. What does it mean? Constant fire. That's necessary. Look at the Tanya was taught in the Brisa. There's a constant fire burning on the Mizbeach. It should not be extinguished. It's coming to teach me that there's a second fire there. 1 second. Is that what we said? Yeah. We said Ve'esha Mizbeach Tukar Bailei Sichba was teaching me Marach Shnei Shel Keteris. That's Pasuk Vav. Oh, now we're in Pasuk Vav. Let's see. Let's go further. How do I know that the fire of the fire pan of Yom Kippur and the fire that comes from the menorah, where did they get the fire for the menorah? They lit a match in the hechel. So it says, Minayin, where do you know that comes from the Mizbeach? It says fire by the Keteris, it says fire by the fire pan and by the menorah. Just like the Keteris comes from the outer altar, so too the menorah will take the fire, and for the fire pan, for the Kodesh HaKadoshim will take the fire from the outer altar. Now we're saying that you're taking it from the Keteris fire. Or maybe you don't do that. Don't use this logic. Maybe we have to explain it like this. The fire is taken off the Mizbeach HaChitzon and put on the Mizbeach HaPnimi. On the Mizbeach HaPnimi, the inner altar, that's where they did the Keteris. Now I have to light the menorah, and I also have to get, once a year, I have to get coals for the Kodesh HaKadoshim, for the Keteris that goes in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. So, just like the Keteris came from a fire that was nearby the outer altar, that's the Mizbeach HaChitzon would be the closest of the Kalim to the outer altar. So, the menorah and the Kodesh HaKadoshim is going to get their fire from the Mizbeach HaPnimi. So it will take a stop. The coals will take a stop on the Mizbeach HaPnimi, and then you'll take the fire off the Mizbeach HaPnimi. I mean, you do have a fire burning the whole time. If the Kohen is doing the menorah, and he has a fire, he turns around, there's a fire burning over there for the Keteris. Right? Was the Keteris was done in between the Keteris was done after the menorah was cleaned in the morning. Okay. So the Gemara says, Eish Tamid, you hear this? Eish Tamid is coming to tell me that it's coming to allude to the menorah. The menorah, this week's parsha. It says, Lahales Ner Tamid, to have a constant fire, that's the menorah. That tells me that the Eish Tamid, the Ner Tamid comes from the Eish Tamid, comes from the outer, the Mizbeach that's outside. Eish Tamid Shamarti Lach Leite Elebration Shal Mizbeach HaChitzon. Okay, the Gemara says that's nice. Lamadno Eish LaMenorah. You told me where you get the fire for the menorah, but Eish LaMachta Minayin. How do you know that you get the fire for the fire pan that goes inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim also from the outer altar? It says like this: V'dinu Nemre Eish B'Machta V'Nemre Eish B'Menorah. Logical. It says the fire by the fire pan, fire by the menorah. Malana Gab Mizbeach Chitzon, Kana Gab Mizbeach Chitzon. Let's say it's the same thing. Why should we say that it's any different? The menorah is coming from outside, so also the fire pan should be coming from outside. Maybe don't use that logic. It says fire by the Keteris, and it says fire by the fire pan. Maybe just like by the Keteris, it comes from the closest fire, which is outside. So the fire for the Kodesh HaKadoshim will come from the closest fire, which is inside. Maybe I have to get the fire off the Mizbeach HaPnimi. So Talmud Leimer v'lokach malay machta kach liyesh me'al Mizbeach l'fnei Hashem. Eze Mizbeach shemiktasi l'fnei Hashem ve'in kula l'fnei Hashem. You see, when it says that you're taking it from the Mizbeach from in front of Hashem. That means that I have to discern on the Mizbeach itself, am I taking it from in front of Hashem or not? It has to be on the Mizbeach itself. I have to get the right spot. So Haviyim is a Mizbeach Chitz, and this must be the outer altar. And that's the right both. Because if it would only say you take the fire from the Mizbeach, Mizbeach Primi, I would say we're talking about the inner altar. So Kasav Rachmanam Lifnei Hashem. So then it adds in, it has to be from in front of Hashem to give me this other detail. That means that I have to check it out to make sure it's Lifnei Hashem. Because Rachmanam Lifnei Hashem, we're just saying Lifnei Hashem. Havamina Dafkam Lifnei Hashem. I would have thought that it needs to be directly in front of the doorway. But other places on the Mizbeach, a malay, I would say not. So tzricha. What this means, the Lifnei Hashem must mean over here, not, it's allowing me the whole Mizbeach. But so why is it after the same Lifnei Hashem and not Lifnei Hashem? But it's telling me is that there's a fire on the east side, there's a fire on the west side. I have to take from the western fire, which is closer to the doorway. Now, which side of the doorway? That doesn't matter, but it has to be on the west side. That's what it's saying. You take from the Mizbeach, Lifnei Hashem, the one that's closest to the doorway of the Heichal. That's where you take from. Okay. Let's leave it over here.